Hello, welcome back to Nails by Sora. I hope you're all doing well. I am doing great. I actually have my orientation at nail school tonight, but I have two videos that I want to record. First, we'll see if I get to both of them. This one, they're both actually going to be nail challenges from Blue Rose Nail Talk. And the first one is the challenge from last week, which I didn't get to. If I remember correctly, it's a nautical theme. She stopped mentioning shape of nails because people basically just did what they wanted anyway. So basically it's your choice what you want to do for shape. I always do extra long coffin because that's what I have on hand. And you need to use water decals. I believe the color green. I'll have to look it up. I do have some green kind of in here, but not really. Maybe I'll add in some more. I do need to check to see which color it actually is, but I want to, since it's almost October, and not really in the, the pool, beachy summer scene anymore, I was kind of having trouble figuring out what I wanted to do for a nautical theme. I did pick up these water slide decals, which I'm very excited to use. And I was intrigued by the yellow and orange ones. And since we're heading into autumn with nice bright oranges and reds and yellows, I figured maybe I'd do a sunset over water, which is what this nail is. I wanted to try it out first before I did it on camera to make sure that I could get the effect that I was looking for. I'm also trying to use sticky tape instead of gummy tack for the nail stands, and as you can see, it's not working too well. But I used, I'm going to pick up one of the bottles I didn't use because the other ones are open, but I'm using Ink Fit by Fiote. It's their alcohol ink colors, and you do need to shake them because they have white mixed in for opacity. I kind of like it better without the white mixed in, but you don't get that payoff with the color. It's a little bit more translucent. So some of them I mix, some of them I don't. It depends on what the look I'm going for. But I started off with a base of milky white. I went in with the alcohol inks and then the white on top, followed by base coat. But I'm going to go into it with you right now. First removing this hair from the nail, and I'm using, actually I automatically defaulted to the highlight gel from Nails by Dev because I didn't have a milky white before, but I do have one now. It's Fresh as Daisy from Magpie Beauty, and unfortunately you can't really buy nail polishes from Magpie Beauty directly if you don't have an license as a nail tech, or if you are a student like I am. Yay! But yeah, so I picked up a few colors. I have a few more on the way. If I could change one thing about their gel polishes, it would actually be the brush. I'm used to slightly more narrow brush, narrow and longer. So it's a bit of a learning curve with their brushes. However, they are slightly rounded at the tip, which helps get into the cuticle line a little bit more easily. So it's got its pluses and its minuses, and of course it's all what you're used to. So I'm just going to do one coat of Fresh as a Daisy. I'm going to give a full 60-second cure on that, and then we're going to go in with Thoughts Velvet Matte Top Coat to work with the alcohol inks, and I'm using my Madam Glam Velvet Matte Top Coat. Anybody else out there who uses Madam Glam's Velvet Matte Top Coat, do you have the issue where no matter how sealed you have the bottle, or where it's kept, whether it's in a light spot or a dark spot, I always get semi-curing of the gel around the neck of the bottle? It's really quite aggravating because if I don't use it for a while, I get like this buildup of gel on the inside of the neck that I then have to dig out. And I'm not using it in front of the UV light. I seal it when it's done. I put it away in a dark area, and it still happens every single time. So let me know if you're having those issues or if it's just me. Now that I sealed it, I'm going to unseal it again. I'm going to put an even coat over the entire nail, and then I'm going to give it another 60-second cure. Okay, so while I have this second nail curing, or the third rather, I'm going to go in with my sunset colors. We've got orange, lime, yellow or green, pink, and blue. And they're going to merge together and create other colors as sunsets do. But I actually looked up a picture of a sunset over water so that I can see what colors often appear. And we're just going to go in and lay down that color. You can do it however you want. You can bleed it out with some acetone, or you can use the other color. I would suggest though, before you put the brush back in the bottle, that you wipe it off well. You can even dip it in a little bit of the acetone, which is what I do, just so that you can get the other color off of it. Now with the pink, and the blue I did shake up because I wanted it a little bit more pigmented instead of transparent. And as you can see, as it mixes with the pink, it makes a beautiful purple. And now I'm going to take a watercolor brush. I'm going to dip it in the acetone and wipe it off a little bit. I'm just going to bleed those colors up a little bit more. Now, if you want, you can always go in and add more color. The more acetone you use, the more color you will draw off. So it's really up to you what you're going for. Okay, I think that's good. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go right in with white. And I think I actually want to mix some of the white with the milky white, because I think the milky white was too light and the perfect white was too opaque. So I'm going to mix a little bit of the perfect white in with the milky white. And then I'm going to see how that looks on the nail. You can go right over the alcohol inks. You do want to make sure that it's mostly matte so that you don't start pulling off the alcohol pigment. But once it's matte, it's really not going to come off unless you use acetone or alcohol. Alright, so we've got our white layer. I might go in with a little bit more perfect white. And then I'm going to take base coat on a palette. I did do it before directly from the bottle with the bottle brush, but I think I want to use a dotting tool this time and see if it works a little bit better. And I'm going to choose the one with the largest pin head that I have. Pin head. Do I have a large one? I thought I had a larger one than that. I'm using this one. I'm going to pick up a good amount of base coat, and I'm going to dot it directly onto the nail. And you're going to see it's going to start creating those bubbles that are slowly going to expand outward. I'll place them pretty close to each other so that they press up against one another. It takes some more base. Now you do want to work relatively quickly because they are going to start expanding. And you want to keep that bubble look as much as possible. This is going a little bit slower than I want. So I'm going to go back in with the bottle brush. Just make sure that if you're using the bottle brush, as with everything else, you wipe it off before it goes back in, so that you don't contaminate it. All right, so at this point, I've got a little bit of unevenness from the placement of the gel. I'm just going to pull off some from the edges, and it's going to help bleed it out as well. A little bit from the tip. And I'm going to cure it. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to do exactly the same thing with the next nail. Just want to show you the difference if I shake up the alcohol inks. You can see that layer of white on the bottom. These have been sitting for a bit, so it's taking a while for it to shake down. So you can see it's a little lighter, a little bit more opaque, kind of a little bit more creamy, if you will. I do kind of like the translucency better without shaking it. I'm kind of mad at myself because in hindsight, whoop, here are the 3 nails, by the way. Our sunset water reflection kind of scene. In hindsight, I think it would have been nice if I'd put some of the fish down before I put the water down, because then you would be able to see it underneath the ripples of the water. And I've seen other people go in and they've done secondary layers of bubbles on top, so I may try it maybe in 1 or 2 areas on each nail. I'll have to see. But I have a few different ideas in my head as to what I want to do, and I don't want to make the nails too congested. I do want to try to work a French tip into it somehow, and originally I thought I was going to do a 3D life preserver, but I'm not sure. So I think what I'm going to start out with is maybe on the center nail. First of all, let me get in the French tip, trying to figure out what color I want to use. Maybe, do I want to do orange? I think that would be a little bit too much. Think Stephanie, I could, no, Tiffany blue wouldn't really go. Why don't we do this? I'm going to matte top coat everything, and then I'm going to play around with a few colors for the French tip. All right, so we have our matte. I'm going to grab my palette, which I've cleaned, and I'm going to go in with some white to start, because I'm thinking that white might be the best option. And grab. Where am I going? I'm pulling out every single drawer except for the ones that have the brushes. Too long, too short, just right. Don't want it too long because I don't want to lose all of the glue. Okay, this stuff just is not working for me. Where is my bone check? I'm just going to let that settle a bit so that it evens out, and I'm going to move on to the next nail. I think I am going to stick with the white just because, and first before I start, actually that one was stuck pretty well. Before I go on to this nail, I was going to change out the tape, but it seems to be stuck pretty well on that one at least. So we're just gonna push on. Oh, so I wanted to say the reason why I covered the nail in velvet matte top coat before going in and doing the French tip is because since there's a tacky layer on the nail, you're not going to get that clean, crisp line for the French tip, the small line, because the gel will start to bleed. And you want it as crisp as possible. So if you're going to be doing a French manicure, on top where the base color is put on first, you either need to wipe the nail of the inhibition layer or you need to put on a matte top coat. And then you can go over it with glossy again afterwards, which is what we're going to do. We're kind of like the matte look for the water. The only thing is water is not matte. It is shiny. All right. Second nail done, on to the third. Okay, so we're going to start in on the water slide decals, and I learned this hack a while ago where you use a jelly stamper to pick up the water slide decal, and then you can place it on the nail exactly where you want it. But I need to clean off, I've got stuff on the stamper, so I'm using a lint-free wipe and some alcohol. I usually use tape, but I can't find my roller tape at the moment. So we're gonna pull out our nails, which are ready to go. And I'm going to use these decals to line the border, to line the smile line of the French. So what you do is you place it image down on the jelly stamper, then you take a brush and some water and you wet the back of the decal. Don't need too much, you want it just enough to soak through. You can start drawing off some of that water, and then you slowly start to push at the back until it pulls away from the decal. And the decal then is left behind on the stamper. Now what I did mean to do is to cut this in half first. So I want to use the other half for one of the other nails. So I'm going to attempt to move this out of the way without, and I mucked it up. I didn't take the plastic coating off the top. Okay, let's try to salvage this, shall we? I'm going to grab my first nail and I'm going to try to place only one decal down. This is supposed to come off first. Okay, not bad. Let's move on to the and then making sure we do not repeat our last mistake. We're going to remove the plastic covering. Place it on the jelly stamper. Wet it with water. And then if your nail is actually sticking to the form like it's supposed to, it'll go right down. Just gonna take a little bit more water and pat it down into place. Alrighty, we've got that portion done. Moving on, I'm going to take, do want to use an anchor. There only seems to be one. How do you only have one anchor? Now these water slide decals are great, this brand specifically. I've never used it before. I got it off of Amazon. I will link it down below. But a lot of the times the water slide decals that you find will be kind of translucent in that you can see through them, and you have to paint back of them to be able to see them on the, oh shoot, okay. So because the background is matte, it's not really sticking. So I am going to put down a non-acid nail primer to get a tacky layer back. It stuck to the white portion because it was tacky. So as I was saying, a lot of times water slide decals or some brands, they'll be a little bit transparent, so you'll have to paint the background white so that you can see the colors, which is kind of aggravating. Perfect. Now for the other nails, what do I want to use? I'm gonna go for starfish. Oh, you see I'm pressing the water down into it. I'm not dragging it. I want it to get really well saturated before I try to start pulling the backing away. Don't force it, it'll come off when it's ready. And you can pull off some of the water from the stamper so you don't transfer it onto the nail. Oh, I have to do the turtle. The question is it going to show up on the nail? I'm just gonna cut that little piece out there because I cut it in half anyway. There's a little bubble or something that's chasing after. Into my lap. It's a little wrinkled. Okay, so these are our 3 nails so far. What else? Oh, I need to check what I can't find the post and I don't want to spend the next hour looking for it, so I'm just going to press on, and if the color's in there, great. If not, oh well. I'm caught between wanting to add more and not wanting to add too much. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to frame out the middle nail with the other half of the stamp, or the decal rather, and then I'm going to call it a day with this set. So I decided that they're not done yet. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to frame out all 3 nails with gold, because everybody loves gold. And the beauty of it is, since I already top coated it, if I don't like it, I can remove it. So I'm using one of my longer lining brushes, and I'm just literally letting it be my guide. I'm just laying it down and dragging it up the nail. A little bit more down where I think it needs it, if the sparkle's a little sparse. And then bringing it around the bend. I definitely think that adds a little something to it. I'm just going to bring the line in a little bit more so that you can see it from the front. So it would seem that now is the perfect time to be finished, as the grounds crew is descending upon my apartment with their buzzsaws and weed whackers and trimmers. So this was the most recent challenge by Blue Rose Nail Talk. She has a fabulous page of her own. Go check it out. Her name is Crystal. She also has a Facebook page. Check that out. This was a lot of fun to do. It did come out almost exactly as I imagined it would. But no, seriously, I had a lot of fun with this set. Starting out, I really didn't know what I wanted to accomplish with it, and I went back and forth as I was working on it with a few different ideas, but the finished product, I think, is quite cute. A little classy, a little whimsy, and I love how the gold around the border accents it. It just almost looks like a storybook page. So I hope you like this video. Please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Give me a like and a subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you know when new videos are available. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.